welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch. I'm so glad that you joined us. As you know, every week we try to bring you inspirational business leaders, and today's guest is no different. She has been on the show before, and some of you know her as my girlfriend, Christina Lentini, also known as Christina is my agent. So, Christina, welcome back to The Credit Authority. I love having you on. First of all, I don't want to get too personal with some things, but you are a fearless leader in your industry. Let's just use a benchmark. Tell everybody how old you are. And you don't have to say exactly how old you are. I'm impressed. And the reason why is because I'm so impressed with how much you've accomplished in such a short period of time. So why don't I help you?
I'll say it. It's okay. I'm 34.
Okay. So I was going to say the under 35 marker, and I've known you for years at this point, and I've watched your success. And I think what happens is that when you are somebody that is as successful as yourself at such a young age, there are definitely some, I'll call them haters along the way.
Yes,
and you and I have talked about this, and you've made some really, really bold moves in the last few years. And I would love to tiptoe into that because it really supports what the Credit Authority discusses when we are speaking about female leaders and somebody who is a true entrepreneur. Okay. So let's go back. So give us a little bit of a history about who Christina Lentini is.
Well, I've been in the insurance industry now. I am going on 15 years. So this is really all I know and what I truly specialize in. And I was an owner of a big box insurance company, the largest in the United States. And I was a franchisee, and I had much success in doing that. And then I came to a point where I wanted to build something for myself and really pave my own way and build my own brand. And when you're a franchisee, that's, you can't do that. You need to stay in their box that they require you to be in. And I just got to the point where I felt like there was bigger things for me. And like I said, I wanted to really pave that way for myself. So I ended up leaving. I took some time off to focus on being a mom, which was wonderful. And now I have been open for a year and a half as an independent broker underneath my own name, my own brand. And we've just been forging forward, and we've had some incredible, incredible success so far. It has been quite a ride.
Now, again, what I want to go back to is you were with a big box.
Yes.
Give me some challenges of other people that are listening, and they're listening to what you're saying, and they're saying, I'm trapped behind, a franchise model or a big box model. Explain to people what some of those challenges may have been during that period of time.
So, being part of a big box brand and being a franchisee, you have to follow all of their rules, their regulations. You have to follow everything the way that they see fit. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I did it for a very long time. I enjoyed it. And then I kept getting this inkling that there was just something else out there for me. There was something bigger for me. And I really just wanted to kind of be free and break from those chains. And it was incredibly courageous and very nerve-wracking to do what I did. Leaving, you walk away with nothing. You have to completely start over from scratch. I walked away with no customers. Everything I had built all those years was gone. And it was incredibly difficult. But you kind of just have to believe in yourself and bank on yourself. And I knew that I wouldn't fail because I can't fail I'm not going to fail myself. And I just kept forging forward, and, you get one customer, two customers, and then, you kind of just that snowball effect, and you just keep rolling on from there. And I just didn't quit 7 days a week. I kept at it. And, I put together a really good, marketing program, and I took everything that I learned over those 14 years, and then I kind of rolled it in and applied it to myself. And, like I said before, we've had some incredible, incredible success, which is great. It's very challenging. It's very different on the independent side but it's so rewarding building something for yourself that now I could turn around and sell one day. Now I have a business that has actual financial value that I could sell. And before I wasn't able to do that.
We've talked about that, over the last handful of years was, you're so talented in your space. And when we talk about longevity and exit planning, one of the conversations you and I had was, as long as you stayed where you were, there was no actual exit plan. And you
Correct.
and I were talking about, look, I have 5 kids, you have, Dominic, you have a child. There was been nothing that you could have left to him. There would have been no legacy.
Correct.
And
And
you
that
try to figure out
always,
when to start, right? Like, when do you break away
yes.
so that you can start
And
and
I
build
broke
what you need?
Yeah, I broke away at the height of my career. I was the number 3 agent in the entire United States, and out of 19,000 agents. And I left at my absolute height, at the high of it all. And everybody was shocked. And, unfortunately, there was a tremendous amount of rumors that surrounded me leaving, and it was incredibly cruel. And none of them were true. But I kind of just put my head down. I retreated for a little while. I took some time off. I just kind of disappeared. And then I came back and, completely reinvented myself.
Let's touch on that for a minute. People are cruel. The business community is very challenging. There are times that you're saying, things happen and rumors get started, utilizing this as a platform. You and I have spoken about things that you thought you may have heard people saying about you. Is
Yes.
there anything that you want to say to those people today to reinforce why you are a fearless leader?
What a lot of people didn't realize was I had stage 2 cancer, and I was out of my office for over a year. And I was battling, and I was going through chemo, and I had major surgery, and I wasn't present in my office for over a year. And, I left my office, with my staff to take care of everything. And unfortunately, I just didn't have the right staff. And there wasn't processes in place to kind of have checks and balances, unfortunately, and some things had happened. And by the time I came back, it's kind of like the wheels fell off the bus. There was not much that I could do to kind of bring it back. And, people had so much to say when I left, and none of it was true. I left on my own. I decided to resign. I wasn't told to leave, or, I wasn't terminated. It wasn't anything along those lines. It was a mutual agreement, and they had accepted my resignation. And, so to those people that think that they knew what happened and that they're running around with all of those rumors, I was sick for a long time. And, during that time period, certain things had occurred with my staff that I was unaware of. And it just was, an unfortunate situation. And I made the decision what was best for me and my life. And I look back and I don't regret it at all. It was absolutely the best thing that could have happened.
I think what I also want to point out is that this all happened in the height of the pandemic. So not only were
Yes.
you sick, which I know because I visited you bedside,
Yes.
not only were you sick and you had a staff that was trying to be as supportive as they could, Big Box was not there to help you because there was
No.
limited opportunities for them to jump in because they were restructuring themselves during the pandemic on how those new processes and procedures needed to look.
Yes, I had called and I asked for support. I asked to see if they could send somebody out to my office to help me run it and to help oversee. And I offered to pay them out of my pocket. I didn't want them to incur any expenses for that. And they said, well, you're independently contracted. We wish you the best of luck and we hope you get better. And there was absolutely no support for me whatsoever. So, going through the height of the pandemic, trying to navigate through all of that, trying to navigate through, my health crisis at the time. And it was just like the perfect trifecta of everything that could have went wrong. Everything did go wrong, and it went wrong very quickly. And, but again, I look back and I don't regret any of it. I'm absolutely blessed that everything happened the way that it did. It didn't make sense at the time, but now that I look back, and it was just the best possible thing for me because it gave me the platform to say, okay, now what do I do? I'm going to bank on myself and I'm going to propel forward. and I'm going to do it on my own without the big box name behind me anymore. And, I'm going to kind of forge my own way. And I did, and I'm the happiest I've ever been.
I love it. Well, with that in mind, stay tuned. We just have to break for a quick commercial. And welcome back to another episode of the Credit Authority. I'm glad you did not move your dial. We are on today with my guest, Christina Lentini, fearless entrepreneur, leader in the insurance industry space, and of course, a friend of mine. And what I'd love to do is take this next opportunity to talk about what your plans are for 2024. We already know you came from Big Box. You have such an amazing story. And I think that there's a time and a place. And I think you've gotten to that point where you're willing to share your experiences and your story to help empower other people. So tell us a little bit about what's in store and what your ideas are for self-development and growth in 2024.
Okay, awesome. Well, for 2024, I kind of want to pivot a little bit. I just recently, a year and a half ago, came out on my own as an independent agent, and I left the big box. So, I've been moving forward, building my own brand. And now this year, I want to add to that. I want to expand on that essentially. And, people in the insurance industry call me all the time for advice, and they want my processes. They want to know how I run my office. They want to know how I've achieved success. They want to know how I do what I do, and marketing, and so on and so forth. And I want to really, this year, I want to work on building out a program that I could share with others to help others succeed, and to share what I do and how I've done it. And you could do it too. There's no magic sauce. It's a lot of consistency, and I have great processes in place that we follow. So I really want to put everything kind of down on paper and share that. And I'd love to do some coaching. I think I would really enjoy it, and to see others succeed would really make me happy.
I think one of the important things about somebody being a coach is that they need to be an authority in their space and lead from experience. One of the challenges that I've seen probably within the last few years is that a lot of people start utilizing the word coach and the word consultant, and they only have maybe one experience, right? That has led them. Over the years with your business, you've reinvented yourself several times, and you really have taken the ultimate sacrifice for your family by saying, I'm going to walk away and rebuild. And you've rebuilt a fantastic business. So I think being a coach is right up your alley. And I think just what people will walk away with is that you are truly looking to share your experiences and your methodology in how to become successful. So one of my questions is going to be, when you're rebuilding in any business, one of the biggest challenges that I hear from my clients directly, if I'm coaching with a client and I'm doing consulting work, I may say to them, you need to have a budget in place. You need to have marketing in place. And essentially what happens is, because somebody's in the process of rebuilding and or building for the first time, they just don't have the liquidity to do it. So if somebody came to you that was currently already, I don't want to use the word failing, but maybe their business is failing, what advice would you start off with to give to that business?
Gosh, that's a tough one. Okay. My advice would be, you have to have, I believe, clear-cut goals. You have to have a clear vision of where you want to go. And I think you need to have the tools in your toolbox and the resources of how to get there. And I will say, with my agency, I really bootstrapped it. I didn't have a tremendous amount of liquidity to get going and, to build. And I just kind of went step by step, and I put together a very good, solid marketing plan to get my name and my face out there, everywhere. Christina is my agent. So I really built on that, and constantly asking for referrals. And I tried to do, and utilize whatever the least expensive route was to get myself out there. And, it was a lot of text messages, postcards are very cheap. Um, I didn't buy very many leads. It was just, getting out there, talking to people, building solid referral sources. So I tried to branch out in that manner. And I think that's the best way to do it. Very boots on the ground, so to speak.
Yep.
Grassroots marketing, essentially.
Which I love. We talk to clients all the time, and when we're speaking to them, people forget about the tools that are free.
Yes.
LinkedIn business pages, Facebook business
Facebook,
pages, Instagram, asking people to follow you, asking for referrals. Sometimes it's the things that are the easiest that are the most challenging. One of the challenges that a lot of my clients face is they feel awkward asking people for referrals. They feel awkward going somewhere and
you
being
can't be
that
shy.
person.
You can't be shy.
I'm not shy. That's
you
for
just
sure.
you have to ask
Yeah.
for the sale. And that's the biggest thing. And I have no fear. I'm going to get told no. I'm going to get shut down, and that's okay. But for law of large numbers, for every single person that I ask, I'm going to absolutely cast a net and get some yeses in there. And those yeses are what propel me forward.
Do you find that your business is built more on referral, or do you think that you get more through marketing?
Referral.
Which I love. And, a lot of times, we hear about people out there networking and shaking hands. There's different types of referral business, and there's different types of networking. What has worked for you in the past?
In the past, when I was at Big Box, networking and sponsoring events really made a very big difference. Now that I don't have that Big Box name behind me, if I sponsor an event, I've noticed I don't get as much attention and business like I used to. So I've really scaled back, and I completely reworked my marketing strategies. And now referrals and asking for the sale, and building referral sources, like mortgage brokers and real estate agents, to refer me, that has really been a lot more lucrative, and we've had much more success than what I used to do. I've had to completely pivot and rework my entire marketing scheme. I used to have billboards, I had radio commercials, I had TV commercials, I had everything, and it used to work. And now that I'm off on my own, I've noticed there's definitely been a shift in what works and what doesn't. I have a very good tracking strategy to see, how did, somebody calls my office, how did you hear about us? How did you get to me? And I could see what is working and what isn't. And then whatever obviously is working, I put more into.
How do you know when you have reached the point where you need to hire additional staff?
When the phones are ringing like crazy, there's a tremendous amount of service going on, and everybody is staying till after 5 because they are just so bogged down. That was my indicator of I need to add more. When I first opened, I hired 2 employees to get off the ground and get going. And now a year and a half later, I'm up to 7 full-time.
Which I love. And, one of the challenging things, is hiring the right staff. If somebody comes to you for coaching and they're looking to you for guidance, what recommendations are you making on how to find that key employee?
You have to have somebody that shares your vision, that understands where you want to go, and understands, your processes and how you do things. They kind of have to buy into your pipe dream, essentially. So you have to have somebody that's definitely on the same page as you, somebody that is willing to learn, somebody that is excited about the business, that wants to grow just as much as you want it to. You really have to share in that. And, that makes a very big difference, because if you have somebody, you can't teach somebody passion. So if they're passionate about the business and they're excited about it every day, that's the best thing. I went to local colleges and I picked up interns from local colleges, and I've just kind of molded them and morphed them into, what I'm looking for and what I need for my agency. And, we've had tremendous success with it.
I love it. So just for the sake of time, any words of wisdom before we end today's session?
I would say to anybody that's thinking about making a huge career jump and, follow your dream. I know that sounds so cliche, but I did it and I can't imagine going back and not having this opportunity and this experience. It was incredibly difficult in the beginning, but it has been the most rewarding thing that I have ever done. There's nothing better than doing it for yourself.
I love it. Once again, we are with Christina Lentini. Stay tuned. We're getting ready to bring you information about next week's episode.